Perfect. So let me start with the introduction, and I see people are already raising their hands, so I will be open to questions. My name is Mark Gatere, and I am a student. I'm still a student at DeKUT University of Technology. Besides that, I'm an incoming software engineering intern at Microsoft. I'm currently still at Microsoft. I've been here since August, but I've been in a different role. I've been a part of the developer engagement and things to do with ecosystem and Microsoft Garage. So much of what we've been doing is more internal, and for external, we've been doing ecosystem engagements like the campus tours, things to do with the whole ecosystem or the external ecosystem, that is for people who are into technology. So for developers, the events that we've been having here at Microsoft, we've been part of the team that has been organizing most of the events, and yeah, that is about ecosystem. And for Microsoft Garage, it has been an internal role. I will continue explaining in case you have any questions in the course. But that is what I've been serving as from August last year. But from July, I'll be starting a new role as a software engineering intern, and has kind of been a dream come true. So I'll share more insights on for them that are possibly planning to apply for the software engineering internship, or even you planning to apply for a software engineering role at Microsoft. Hopefully, I'll have some insights to share today. So that is Mark Gatere in a nutshell. I will share my journey in the course because I saw Lillian kind of in the topic. She said Mark Gatere's journey or something to journey to Microsoft. So I'll share one or two insights on my journey. That is from where I started in terms of tech, where I started in terms of getting into programming, and how I found myself at Microsoft at the moment, and how I also found myself into that opportunity that I'll be joining as a software engineering intern. So when I joined as a software engineering intern, I'll kind of have been at Microsoft for about a year. So allow me to share. Okay, let me start with my journey because it's kind of long and I'm excited. For the first time, I'm not doing a technical session, so I didn't get to prepare a lot of slides. I just have 2 slides to just share something. Actually, there are 2 slides which have nothing that is in terms of content or text, just some images I will share with you that are in line with my journey. So let me just give a sneak peek about my journey, where I started in terms of even interest in tech. I started my passion in tech came while I was in high school. That is when I was when I got into a computer studies class and found computers. At that time, when you're in Form 1, Form 2, you don't really know where you want to end up to. You have all these subjects that you doing, and then there's this computer studies class, there's agriculture. But by the time you're getting to Form 2, I saw that the only subject that I could perform well was computer studies. So I was like, this is something that I can pursue in future. I didn't know where I want to end up to. I didn't know there's something like software engineering or AI at the moment. But I just got into the computer studies class. When we were doing the subject selections, I decided to get into computer science. To cut the long story short, here comes our campus. We've done our KCSE, we've completed, and then now we have to join campus. So I selected a number of courses. As we all know, we all select medicine, engineering, and all that. But I also placed IT and computer science. For the first, I don't know whether the approach is similar at the moment. The first revision, we normally had revisions. For the first revision, because I had selected kind of a lot of engineerings, I didn't get the first. I still had passion in tech, but I wanted to see whether you are optimistic. And this time you are selecting before you do your KCSE, so I was optimistic that I will get a good grade that will make me get into an engineering class. So I selected engineering. Then I had, after the results came out, I didn't get a pass mark or that cluster point to get into engineering. So we had to do another revision. But this time now I had to put IT as the first subject that I want to pursue in campus, or the first career aspiration. So when I selected IT, after the results came, I was selected to join DeKUT University for IT. Remember that this time I still don't know where I want to end up to. I just know that I want to work with computers. I want to kind of build something. I just want to work with computers because computer studies have been passing these subjects. So in case there are any career aspirations that I can get into, I just want to work with computers. So I got into IT in that is in first year at DeKUT, and this time I'm that ambitious first year who wants to explore, who is ready. Because one thing I knew is that I'm now pursuing something that has no chemistry in it or has no biology in it, because I did pursue well in those sciences. I was not perfect in chemistry. I was not good in even the bit of mathematics of not that perfect. So I was like, I'm coming now to pursue my passion. I'm coming to pursue something that has no chemistry in it. So I was so like active and ready to like get into campus, get into this course, see what it entails, see how I can start working with computers. And when I joined DeKUT, I'm super grateful to the whole administration at DeKUT and the ecosystem as well. Because when I got into DeKUT in my first year, I found something known as tech events. I know most of us know about tech events and all that. So I found something on tech events, and this time I'm hearing that there's free food. There is free swags or giveaways. I didn't know swags were what at that time, but we were told that we'll be given t-shirts and all that. That is when I attended. So actually, let me just say this before I continue. For them that I know some of you might have read this story. I've shared my whole, if you go to my Twitter or my X account, I shared this kind of sneak peek to my journey, and I've shared most of what I'll be talking about. If you go there and check Gatere Mark, then scroll, you'll go and find my story. I've stated something about my story. So I've stated a lot of these things, and I've added some screenshots of the events and the first events that I attended at DeKUT and even my journey. So if you go there, you can still find the story that I'm sharing. So this is my journey to Microsoft. So I'll skip some of the bits. So I got there. I found they are hosting free events, there's free food, there's free giveaways, and I was like, wow, even though I'm not going to learn anything, at least I need free food. As comrade, I will get free t-shirts. So that is when I attended the events. I remember going to the first event when I Tech Cracker. And how I found out about the event, as I said, I was so like active when I joined DeKUT. I was like, I want to know what tech is. I want to explore. I was so ambitious. I was like, I want to get into this thing. That is when I don't know how I found about the Tech Cracker. That was the first event that I joined when I joined DeKUT in first year. And actually, I joined in 2021 October. So for them that I'm accounting, I joined in 2021. We were joined in September, but we joined in October. So 2021 October. Then the Tech Cracker was in November. So in 1 month time, I don't know how I even got to get the link, but there was that aspect of Kierere in quotes. So that is what helped me. I got the link and then got into the event. It was an overnight event. But the thing that took me to the event is that we were told that there's free supper. So I was like, even though I don't get to understand anything about this, there's tech in it because it's Tech Cracker. They have outlined what we are going to cover in terms of we are going to hear about from existing community leads. Like I could hear Developer Students Club, Microsoft Land Student Ambassadors, and I was like, hey, if Google is here, if Microsoft is here, let me go and attend that event. I'll get free food as well. So that is when I went to Tech Cracker, and I remember in that Tech Cracker, I met with my initial friends. That is, we were about 3 to 5 first years who were in that event. I also don't know how they got to know about the link, but I remember when we were in that event, that is when I got also to know about the other first years. One of them was a good friend of mine to date. He's called Daniel Brand. I don't know whether he's in the call, but that is when we met in the first event. He's called Daniel Brand, and also Stanley and other friends of mine who we met in that first initial event. So from that event, I remember they asked about sharing, that what you are learning, share on Twitter. I remember I had created an X account or Twitter account at the moment. That is, by that time, it was Twitter. I created a Twitter account, but I didn't know a lot about sharing and all that. I was not active. So I created like a month before. So I don't know even how I created the account. So I just got into my Twitter account and started sharing because I said they'll give away t-shirts or they'll have giveaways for them that will have done a good job in sharing. So in the course, they continued giving away. I didn't get to be announced as a winner. They continued in. We are still learning, so there are speakers who are coming, but my job is to kind of listen what they are saying. I don't understand everything, but try to capture some two things. Push on Twitter or X, tag the accounts, the handles that had been shared with us, add the hashtags and all that, and looking forward to winning a t-shirt. That is the only thing that was making me share. I was looking forward to winning a t-shirt. And I remember this time I'll never fail to mention them. I remember the one was giving away because my first one was given by a lady known as Ivy Olopwa. She's a software engineer at Andela, and she's really been instrumental in my journey as well. That is from that one point. So that And I will come to mention about tech communities. That is why I'm stating this initially. I'll come to mention the benefits of that really came in hand in terms of me being in the tech community. So that is why I'm started with the tech community. So when they were doing the final announcement, this is around now, we've been learning, I didn't understand anything. They have presented about VR, they have presented about software engineering, they have presented about the communities. Actually, I remember even there's a meme that I posted on regards to, I can hear a lot of vocabularies and all that and got nothing. So it was a meme that I extracted and did all that to get a t-shirt. So I didn't understand a lot about what was being shared, but there is that thing that was spark, there's that spark I felt in me after they were sharing all this. I could see VR working. I could see they had those glasses for virtual the VR sets and all that. So there was kind of that excitement into now seeing the real world tech. People are showcasing softwares, people are showcasing applications. I don't know how they are building them, but I can see something that they are doing. So as I've said, I'll come to mention the benefits of communities right from my experience. So that is when finally when they're announcing about the winners, and then they announced me. They announced me at the final winner. So they had given away all t-shirts, and one t-shirt was remaining. That is when I was announced as the final winner of being one of the best tweetists at that time. So I had shared quite a lot of tweets. I didn't share a lot of sense in them. At times I could just say, we are going for supper, or we are having snacks. I take a photo of the snacks and all that and share. So it was quite an awesome, informative. It was informative, but to me, I didn't gain a lot in terms of I gained a lot in terms of passion and seeing the real world thing, but I didn't have to. I was not technical, so I didn't get to understand a lot. And that time I was a first year. So that is when we completed our first event, and in the course of that event, because of how active as I was, as I've said, there's that aspect of Kierere that I had. I got to know of community leads. Like at that time, that is when I knew about Pamela Chemutai, who was at that time the GDSE lead. I got to know about other tech community leads, and we were added in the tech community WhatsApp group. So from there, I was like, wow, I'm now already in the Google Developer Students Club or WhatsApp group, and I was like, I'm part of the Google community. So it was quite exciting because that is the first community I joined, I remember. I was so excited that I'm part of the Google community, and I'm like, wow, this is such an achievement. I've not even started my degree and I'm part of Google. But that is when I came to later know about the community and the company. They are kind of different in terms of the tech communities and the companies. So I'm now in this community. I've started exploring. We started going to sessions that are hosted by the GDSE. We are attending a lot of sessions, and that is when in now 2022, I remember I've attended a number of sessions. I've gone to the Android session, I've gone to the web development session, I've gone to the data science session. I still don't know what I want to pursue. I'm just going for excitement that I'm going a Google community. I go to this session, I go to this session, I go to this session. So there's quite that excitement of going and attending different sessions. I got to get some things on regards to one. When you're doing Android development, you have to have a good laptop, because when I attended the first Android development session, that was my first and my last time to attend the Android development session. I didn't have a powerful laptop. It was just 4 GB RAM. And just from we being told to install the Android Studio, I remember I was there from the start of the session to the end of the session, and Android Studio was not even running yet. So I was just in the downloading and installing. So that is one thing I learned, that you have to have a good laptop when getting into Android development. From that point, I've never gotten to the Android development session again, or that is at GDSE. That is when I got interested in data science, machine learning, because I could see there was not quite, it was kind of favorable with my laptop. So I attended those sessions, my activeness, and now I've started learning, I've started receiving resources from the lead then. I started upskilling, that is on my end now. And I was so active in sharing resources that I'm using on the WhatsApp groups, being that now we have access to the WhatsApp groups. So I remember this time I'm in first year, I'm just someone who is learning, not kind of someone who is so important, because we have people who are super skilled at that time. We were going for sessions and you could hear that is a Google Developer Students Club lead for machine learning. Like, you are going to call them sir, like, hello sir, can I get information about this? Hello sir, can I? But they're still students, but at that time you're giving them that respect because you see they are kind of way ahead. So this time I'm upskilling, I'm sharing resources in the WhatsApp group. Then now at that time the one who was the machine learning lead graduated because they were graduating in April. Now this is 2022 April. And when they graduated, because at that time I'd known the lead was Pamela Chemutai, who was leading the GDSC, and had also known a number of other leads. And Pamela had seen my activeness in sharing the resources and all that. She suggested and told me that I want to have you as the GDSC lead for machine learning. And I'm like, I'm not even quite good in machine learning. I'm not proficient in machine learning. But I just accepted and said, okay, I have no problem. I can become the lead. I will still learn as that. But one thing that she said is that you don't have to be the one who is hosting the session. You don't have to be the one who is hosting that session, or you don't have to be the one who is in charge of the session. You can give someone else who is good in machine learning as you still upskill. I just want you to just be managing the sessions because I've seen your activeness in terms of even sharing the resources. And I accepted. So I was made the GDSC machine learning lead in first year. So this is I am kind of in confusion at that time because I don't know how to lead the community. I've never been part of the community. I've been seeing how sessions are, but I was not that active in terms of leadership. I was more active in attending. So, but I continued. I remember people now are hearing of the data science and artificial intelligence club at DeKUT. So that is the time when the DSI or data science and artificial intelligence club were merging with the machine learning community. So at that time when, because I started also joining the data science meetups, when both teams merged and they were hosting similar sessions because data science and machine learning, they are kind of similar. So that is when now, when they were having the data science sessions, that is when we were having the GDSC machine learning sessions. So as I continued being active, that is when the lead then for data science and artificial intelligence chairman suggested that they want me to be the vice chair for the data science and artificial intelligence club. So I was so excited because this time at least I have gotten some experience in leading the GDSC community in terms of the GDSC machine learning track. I was not at that time doing a lot of technical bits. I was just leaving others who were already in the community to do the activities. I could just inform Pamela, who was the GDSC lead, on the progress in case we have an issue and all that. And this time also I've now been made the vice president of they were being called the vice president or something of data science and artificial intelligence club. So now this time I'm running two communities, not running per se, kind of in GDSC, I'm running the machine learning track, but now for this, I'm now the vice president. At least I have someone who is ahead of me. I can inquire all that and different information on how to run the community. So that really helped me in terms of now communication as well. And Lillian, yes?
Oh, yeah. So as I'm looking through the questions that were submitted, there are some that are matching according to the areas that you're speaking about. I don't know if it's okay to interject at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So
Feel free.
Yeah. With the point that you've reached, there's a lot going on. You're learning machine learning. There's people asking you to be a lead. So someone asked, how do you manage the urge or pressure to learn many things and the discipline to concentrate on the crucial point, I guess, crucial areas? How do you manage the pressure to learn many things?
Perfect. So now this time, remember, there is that pressure. Even I remember that time I was active, I started becoming active on Twitter and shared that you're feeling like you want to learn this, you want to learn this, you want to learn this. One thing that I normally recommend, and that worked for me, but might not work for you or work for you, at times there is that aspect of generalizing then specializing. Remember, I started an Android session, I attended a web session, I attended a machine learning data science session, and after attending a number of sessions, these people are building this, these people are building this. There is that specific technology, or there is that specific thing that sparks your interest. In that, I came to find machine learning interesting because when you are attending the theory sessions, not the theory per se, when you're attending the sessions where there is no technical bit, you're just being told how machine learning can work, how robots work. It was quite kind of interesting. And remember, even when we attended the Tech Cracker, my initial event, I got to see some use cases. We had I remember my first AI session that I attended was by Clinton Odward, that is in Tech Cracker. And he shared this quite exciting. It's quite exciting because if you watch that kind of trailer, it's quite exciting. By NVIDIA, if you go and search, it's known as a GTC something. It's normally these are intros that GTC event by NVIDIA, they normally showcase about AI. It's called I Am AI. If you go and watch I Am AI by NVIDIA, if you just search that on the internet or on YouTube, you get to see that exciting clip. It's generated by AI, but it's kind of AI talking about what it does. So that is where that is what sparked kind of my interest as well in getting into AI, because you're hearing about AI can do this, AI can control robots, AI can do the. I think the link possibly the one that Lydian has shared is about I Am AI. If you check it out, it's quite exciting. So after generalizing and seeing this and that, you will find that interest. And this is how I normally recommend to people. Have like 2 weeks of researching different fields. If you don't know or you are not sure about the field that you want to get into, you're not sure whether it's web development, AI, have 2 weeks, get into YouTube, search a day in the life of a web developer, search a day in the life of a cyber security engineer, a day in the life of a this engineer, or search something that is in line with those different fields, then find one that excites you. Because in you'll find something that is kind of exciting. You'll see like this how cybersecurity is, such short clips about what is cybersecurity, what is web development, what is machine learning. This can take you a max of about 2 weeks. Then from that, when you find something that excites you, start with that. If it's web development, start with that. Start now researching more of how can I get started with web development. And at the moment, we are glad that we have these LLMs, we have these GPTs. You can go on Copilot, ask it, I want to get into web development. Give me a well-structured curriculum on how I can get started from scratch. It will give, even it has access to the internet, it will link some resources to you. At the moment, you are at a better position of getting that, but I normally recommend that generalization. So you can generalize in 2 weeks, you can generalize in 1 month, the one that you find best, but I normally recommend 2 weeks. Search different fields. In this field, this is what they do. In this field, this is what they do. You'll find that thing that interests you, because if you decide to go with all the fields, it might be conflicting and it might not work for you. That happened. That is for me. I remember there's a time even I got into Rust development and even studied Rust and wrote a blog post that was featured, but used the cargo for Rust. I don't even recall, but I would say I wasted some time there getting to Rust development. It was not something that excites me, but it was because I had Rust is the new thing. Rust is super fast, but I had not yet had that structure in regards to what I want to achieve or where I want to end up to. So first start with checking different fields. Have 2 weeks of dedication of checking different fields. After you find something that excites you, get into that. After you dive into that and you're quite good into it, believe you can easily pivot. You can easily now get into machine learning. After you are good in web development, you can easily see how can I integrate now machine learning in web development. That way you'll find yourself getting into machine learning and hardly forgetting much of what you've learned, or hardly forgetting the fundamentals you had learned in web development, as opposed to going with machine learning, going with web development at the moment, going with cybersecurity, and you're still learning the fundamentals. So I guess that is how I would respond to that, Lilian. That is what worked for me. I decided now to specialize at that time now with machine learning. I will talk about how I shifted to web development. So Lilian, that is my approach. I don't know whether I've responded to that question for the person who had asked the question. I hope I've responded to it. I hope so. I guess I can continue, Lilian. Kindly confirm.
Yes, it's fine.
Perfect. This time now I'm in machine learning. I'm leading the DSEC community. I'm leading GDSE machine learning. And I continue leading the machine learning community while still upskilling in machine learning. Here comes a time I now get mentors, because at this time I'm vocal on social media. I'm talking about what I'm doing. People know now this time I'm doing machine learning. I'm sharing about different things that I'm learning. I've completed Python. I've written a blog post. This is what I've learned about Python. This is a blog post. I wrote a number of blog posts, Python introduction. I still have them. If you go to dev.to/Gatere Mark, you'll see my blog post. That time I've written now Python I've gotten really into data science. I'm doing a lot of, I've not gotten into the advanced levels like TensorFlow and PyTorch at the moment, but this time I'm kind of good. I'm attending hackathons. I know of Zindi at this time. I'm attending the sessions. We are hosting hackathons, and I'm also being part of a participant in this time at this time. when I got my mentors, I got a very good mentors online because they could see my commitment and all this dedication. So once I got a very good mentor who is a mentor to date, and they asked me, "What do you want to achieve?" This time we've been we have been interacting in the course. They've been seeing my progress. They are saying that one day it will work out. Actually, that the guy was not. I might not put him on the spot. I don't know whether he's on the call, but he was not into machine learning or data science. He was a software engineer in general. So remember this time that I told them that my first goal actually at the moment, being that I'm a comrade, my first goal at the moment is to get the initial job or something that is paying, not a master job, but something that is paying, either a task that is paying or something like just getting a task that someone can pay me from this, from what I'm doing. So they asked me what I want to achieve. I told them I want something that is paying at the moment. That is when now they started explaining that you are in the right track, but one thing you need to realize is that there's that aspect of commitment, because that they shared it frankly to me, because that is what I'll share with everyone here. He told me actually that in different fields, you'll go and see that different fields takes different times for someone to learn the fundamentals until to a place where you're getting your first job or you're getting a project that you can complete. If you go to machine learning, that is now how he explained it to me. If you go to machine learning, it might take you some more time because there's quite a lot of things in machine learning, data science. At times, even he told me examples and told me that for you to get into this company or this company, at times you have to have a PhD to get into data science or machine learning. But now if your first initial goal is to get really into development, is to get your first job or your first task that is paying, the easiest approach to use is a software engineering track. But he told me, I'm not shifting you to get into software engineering, but I'm just leaving it open for you to think about it. But in case your first initial goal is to easily get into the industry or easily get into that. And he gave me examples. He told me that if you find at the moment, for them that I've been speaking, I've been using these examples. If you go to most of the industry at the moment, even small shops, at the moment they have websites. Even though it's somewhere that it's a salon, you'll find that it has possibly a website. So he told me that these ones you'll find they possibly got someone who is good in web development. They developed for them a website and they paid the person. So as you can see, it's easier to get a paying task or a job when you are in development as opposed to when you're in machine learning, because in machine learning, you'll get possibly into the field of research, you'll find yourself getting into the industry, and this industry requires PhD or masters because of the research and all that. So I took some time to think around it and about it. And this is when I decided now to shift my stack, because this time I'm still running the community, I'm still part of the community, but I decided now, because my goal is to get that initial task, or to get that initial paying task, not only tasks, because I was ready to at least get something that is paying, being that I'm comrade, and I don't have quite a lot of funding from home or all that. I wanted to get something that is paying. So I shifted my stack to software engineering with my trust, or that we normally use this sort of trust the process. So with that aspect of trust the process, I believe that if I get into this, because they have told me and they have been in the industry, I hope now this will pay, and as early as possible. So I got into software engineering. I remember if you go to my X account, you'll see when I shared day one, hashtag day one. If you go to X and search hashtag day one on my account, you'll see when I started my software engineering. That was in September 2022. That is when I started web development. And I've shifted now from machine learning. I've gone to web development. At this time, I'm still part of the community. And I will now go connecting both of my journeys in community and development. But one thing also I want to mention is that I took an academic leave. That is in the course, because this was not actually more in line with my upskilling or all that. At times, not at times, it was kind of a bit of also the things to do with funding and all that. This time, my brother is in. I don't want to get into the details, but my brother is in Form 4, I'm in campus and all that. So also funding, and yeah, so it's something that is not related to upskilling. So I took an academic leave, and this time I've decided that when I'm coming back to school, I'm done with paying for myself school fees. That is something that I kind of said in me. That is really making my boy. So I took an academic leave, and this time I've started development, and I'm looking forward to getting paying tasks and I continued. I got a course. I got a friend who did show me how to get access to different resources online, which I normally share with a number of people. So if you ask me about different resources, believe you me, I'll not miss a resource that is well curated or well structured, because they show me how to access the resources, free resources, which are well structured, and the one that I used to study. So this time I'm studying HTML, CSS. I'm getting the JavaScript. I'm sharing hashtag a day. 100 days of code I'm sharing on social media, on X, on LinkedIn. This really comes in handy, and I will come to explain why. So I'm sharing my journey, I'm sharing this and that. So in the course, I've gotten into development. I'm still a student. Remember, when you take an academic leave, you're still a student. Not that you're outside, you're still part of the school, but it's only that you are kind of in a sabbatical. So this time I'm still a student at DeKUT, and now the applications for the GDSE lead in 2023, I think that is when they opened. This time, the person who had become the lead after Pamela was Emilio, is a very close friend of mine. Actually, we kind of meet always on most of the time here in Nairobi, because he's also a software engineer here in Nairobi. So he has been a friend of mine ever since we were in campus. I'm still in campus, but ever since we've been in campus. So, where was I? Emilio was a GDSE lead. So he's a GDSE lead. After Emilio, I apply and I'm selected as a GDSE lead. This time I've known a lot of leadership skills. I've learned about communication. I was not speaking this way initially. I remember even in high school, I was kind of, I'm a typical Kikuyu, so from Ushago, there is that aspect of R and L. There is that conflict of characters and terms when you're speaking. So it's not kind of well spoken, but this aspect of leadership, speaking in events, really came in handy in me having the leadership skills and also the communication skills. So I became the GDSE lead, and when I became the GDSE lead, one thing I'm quite proud of is that the community actually grew with quite a significant number of our members, because I also received an award when I'm graduating, known as the Event Mistro Award by the GDSE community. But this time I'm still upskilling, I'm still now doing web development. And I get into Next.js. This now I want to get into technicals, but because I'm sharing, someone reaches out to me. Now this is now in 2023, around 2023. Someone reached out to me and they told me that I've been referred to you by this lady, because they were referred to me by a lady. I've been referred to you and I've been told that you can do this project. And I'm like, yes, I can do that project. I didn't really know how to do it because I've not worked on a real world project before, but they told me that I have been told that you can work on this project. This is a project for our company, and this is what we want. And can you work on that, and how much can you charge? And I'm like, I've never charged a project before, so I don't even know how much to charge. So I asked someone, a friend of mine, how much can I charge for this project? And they told me how much I can charge. So I just told them, I can work with this. Actually, it was 20K. So I told them I can work with 20K. This is a lot of money. And I'm like, 20K is quite a lot at that time when I'm in Comrade, because Comrade 20K is quite a lot of money. And so I told them, I can work on this with 20K, but I'm open to negotiating in case you are free to making adjustments in terms of the compensation. So they told me they'd give me 15, and I'm like, yeah, that works for me. I'm good. This is my first salary. So this now, it was a website. It was a website for an event. It was known as Expo Africa. And this time I've worked on only my personal projects. I've not worked on real world projects. So this time I'm cautious. I'm more of like, I'm not sure how the project will end up, but I'm quite sure that I have to do it, because for me to get this 15K. So I got into the project. I did the project. We did it for a month while still researching, and they need this integrated. So in about 1.5 months, the project was done, and I was so excited that I got to build now a real world project. So I got to understand that I can also build projects while not having skills in everything. That is when now I told you that when you are good in fundamentals, you can easily bring on board other things in the course. When you are very good in fundamentals, if it's things to do with like you are good in web development, you have those key fundamentals in React, in Next.js, in JavaScript, you can easily bring on board other libraries, other packages that are needed. So when they brought the project, I remember I was doing quite a lot of research while building the project. I wanted to see how can I integrate the aspect of payments, because they want even the ticketing system or the aspect of ticketing. So I continued, I built the project and came into completion. So after finishing that, after about 2 weeks, someone else reached out to me and they told me I've been told by this person that you can work on this project. So this time I started now working on project. I'm charging some fee depending on this, and I'm also learning how projects in terms of structuring even the compensation that you have to ask the client. I know that if this project has these specific features, I can ask for this. If this project has these specific pages or number of pages, or it has the logic, this specific logic, I can charge this. So I started working on projects where people referring me, and that is when I found myself now working on real world projects that I'm paying. Fast forward in 2024, which is last year, I've worked on projects and all that. Someone reaches out to me as well, and they were referred. So remember, this time I'm still applying for jobs, but I'm getting rejection. So if you go on my X account as well, you see a spreadsheet that I shared, a very long spreadsheet that I shared of the rejections that I got, not even one role that I got an offer. So if you go to X, you see I shared it. This time I'm applying for jobs, but at least I'm getting some client tasks or project that I'm working on. So I'm working on something while still applying for jobs, because this time I felt like I'm confident enough to also get jobs. I got rejections and rejections, but this time someone reaches out to me and they tell me that I've been referred to you by this person, that we are looking for a developer. It's a contract role. We can work on this. And I was like, yes, I can work on this. I work on mainly in the front end, because they told me that they have the backend developer. So I had worked on consuming API endpoints from the client's project. I had worked on even full stack applications using Next.js on those specific client projects. So this time I was so confident in saying, yes, I can do this. So I got into the role. It was known as FCL, or Forecast Consult. And that is when we started our first project, building for a client known as Charge 24 Africa. If you go to different malls, you'll get to see these specific charging stations, not charging stations per se, but power bank dispensing stations. We build the admin dashboard, and if you go to Charge 24 Africa, if you go to Service Center, first floor, if you go to different other malls, you find those power bank dispensing machines. So we started working on those ones. That is the first project that we started working on. It was kind of complex because you had to integrate the IoT bit. But remember, in the course, I realized the aspect of researching while building, because you don't have to know everything as they go. But at least if you have something already in you can easily research. And this time I'm still doing my research while still we are building the project. You have the backend developer who is a friend of mine, so I've known them before. And I remember when I was a GDSC lead, actually the one who was the backend developer is known as Festus. I selected him as the web development lead because I had seen some potential in him, and later we are working with him. So it was quite exciting working with someone you know, and you're also getting to learn from him, because in the course he became he became so skilled in regards to his stack. So I could inquire from him, because this time when you're in a team, you also have to inquire. Don't fear asking on all that. So I could ask from Festus. This time we are in June. That is last year. I could ask from Festus, and I could receive feedback on how I can work on this and that, and how we can integrate. So we worked on the project. Come August, I was reached out. This time I've extended my academic leave. Remember my first academic leave I'd taken and all that because of this financial, but this time I said that I will extend my academic leave to now start working on projects, because I was still planning to go back to school, but I decided that I will first mainly work on, have my skills perfect. Remember, I had already sworn that I'll go back to school and I'm paying for myself school fee. So I decided to extend my academic leave so that I can now find out that specific good cash kind of a role. I was so optimistic in getting a role last year. So come August, I got reached out to, because this time I'm still pursuing my skills. That is, I'm working on projects. I've gotten kind of a contract role, and I'm also sharing on social media about community. This time I've become a Microsoft ambassador, which I was selected in around 2023. I've become a Microsoft ambassador and also active Microsoft ambassador. So in sharing about Microsoft Azure and all that. So come August, so we had hosted, Microsoft normally have this campus to us. And I remember when the team was coming, they came in DeKUT. At DeKUT, we've gone to a number of campuses. campuses. 2023, they came to DeKUT, and that is when I came also to know about, we came to interact with my current manager, who is called Irene Githinji. So when they came to Microsoft at that time, you are hearing that Microsoft is coming to DeKUT. There's quite a lot of excitement. Students did show up. This time I'm a Microsoft ambassador. I've been sharing online, and so I got to meet Irene for the first time, and we had some chat here and there, knowing about Microsoft and all that. The normal talk that people normally have after the. So I went, I approached her, we talked. So when it came in, we came to 2024. This time I'm sharing online about what I'm doing. An opportunity came up that is about developer engagement at Microsoft, which was kind of under Microsoft in this ADC. So on regards to being part of the ecosystem and Microsoft Garage team. And that is when now we were selected. I can see a friend of mine known as Humphrey. He's also on the call. So we've been part of the team and ecosystem and Microsoft Garage from August last year when I was reached out. So I've gone back to school. Let me just start by saying that I've gone back to school. So I'm still in school at the moment, but that is when we started working at Microsoft from August last year. We've been part of the ecosystem and Microsoft Garage engagement. But what brought me into this role was more of that aspect of sharing what I'm doing, sharing about community, leading the community. And that is what brought me here. So let me share my screen now. That was just kind of a brief, not intro, just creating some context so that you can ask your questions. Let me share my screen because I have a slide here that I want to share with you as I also talk about my journey. There are 2 slides. So as also, let me just confirm that that is me when doing the upskilling. And I wanted to tell you that it's never easy. That is me, first year, second year at DeKUT. As you can see, I will explain each photo. I have 2 slides. So this is the first slide. Times I look at these photos and laugh. If I go to, I said that there was still upskilling. So most of the time, how I will do my upskilling, I will go to Kesha in school. This time I have said taken academic leave. So I used to Kesha every night in school. We used to go to, because there are some rooms that are never locked in my school. So there are some rooms that are never locked. So I used to go every night. As you can see, the first photo, that is in one of the rooms. So which I mainly went. That is the laptop I had at that time, which is the normal laptop that many of us might join campus with. It's a desktop laptop. As you can see, it's directly connected to the power. And it did have a lot of, I did share something. When we joined the community, we came to a place where we won a hackathon. So I did some upgrades for the laptop. So I bought another battery, but it also died, but also did some upgrades in RAM and all that. So that is the laptop I was using. As you can see on this other photo, I said used to cache in school. So I went no matter what. So in this first side, that where I have that kind of brown thing, it rained, but my clothes were rained on, but I still had to go to school. So I didn't have hoodie or sweater to wear. So, but the goal is that I had to go to school, that is overnight, to do my normal upskilling. So I took that bed cover, wrapped myself, and this now during the morning hours as I'm leaving we were with a friend of mine. So this is during the morning hours as I'm leaving school. For them that are in DeKUT, they are familiar with this space. It's when you are going to the School of Engineering. So that is a photo to show that I was really I want to get into this thing. I want to achieve my goals. I really want to get to a place where I'm getting paid for software development. As you can see, many of us might, as you normally say, we are comrades when you join campus. You might be from a humble background. You don't have a lot that you can live a kind of comfy life in campus. So you have to do by all means. That is where I lived. And in the far end, that photo that is at the far end, that is top right. That is a day when I cashed in church. I know most of you might have seen this photo. I'm at home. I'm still doing the normal upskilling because when I went at home, I'm still doing the upskilling. There was no lights at home, but I had the option. I had to find a way. So there was no power at home, but there was power at that is kwa kanisa at our church. So I had to tell my dad I will go and spend my night upskilling in church. So as you can see from this not I normally don't share this possibly for BT or so or something to do with Kurumia Mark. This to show just in case you're committed, it will one day pay off. So This to show that I was not living a comfy life. Despite being active on social media, you could still be active. It's not that I was sleeping in a very comfy bed. It was not bad. It's still comfy. At least it's on a mattress. Mbili. I don't know whether Mbili or Niboja, but as you can see, it's still comfy. But I was not in that state of, I would say, a comfortable zone or comfort zone. I had to push myself to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So from that portal, eventually, as you can see, there was now a change. Later, I shared that I have joined Microsoft. I got an opportunity. So it's normally that aspect of commitment really comes in handy, pushing yourself beyond the limit. Like, you don't have to go and cashier in a school, you don't have to do overnight cashiers, but that aspect of commitment really comes in handy. That was just to share. I'm open also to questions in case you have any other questions. That is to show you that everything about this, I don't remember this. That is, I don't even live in the same house. For them that know where I am at to, I don't live in the same house, but eventually something, this paid off, the commitment paid off. Having overnight cashiers, upskilling, pushing yourself beyond the limits, not minding where you're coming from, not minding how you're, because one thing I will mention is that any company, they will never understand where you're coming from. Like at Microsoft, I'll not come and tell them, please have mercy on me. I'm coming from this place. We don't have a lot in our home. That might not work. If you go even to another company or even a big tech company, pity might not work for you to get to the industry. The aspect of how equipped you are in terms of the skills, the aspect of how good you are, what are you bringing on board, that is what really matters. So they will never understand where you're coming from. So being that they will never understand where you're coming from, that should not hinder you from upskilling, from you going beyond your limits and trying to find your way. Because at that time you might be competing with someone who has a very good life, they have a very good laptop, but that will not be added in the resume. They'll not say that I have a RTX powered with GPUs and all that laptop. What they have worked on is what will matter. And being that you from, or me from a humble background, we are competing with the same guy, I have to push myself beyond the limits to find that thing that I want to achieve. Even when you go to an interview, they will realize that, hey, this guy is skilled. They'll not ask which laptop did you use to upskill. They'll not ask how did you upskill, did you cashier, did you do that? You'll not talk about that in the interview, but how equipped you are, the journey doesn't matter. It's now up to you. But when you get to that position where it pays off, it really pays off. You normally forget, because I really forgot about how I used to. I remember that, but it's that at the moment it doesn't have a lot of. I don't feel it. Like I don't feel like I was so exhausted. I could not sleep. I was in that hostel, or was in that class overnight upskilling. I don't feel it at the moment, because things have already changed. That commitment has paid off. I found myself already in a company that I'm getting quite a lot, and I've even, in terms of lifestyle, you find even the lifestyle upgrades, or you change your lifestyle in terms of, if you're living in that small room, it pays off, and you eventually find yourself even upgrading and getting to another place, you're buying a better laptop. So that commitment really matters. That is what I wanted to push with just these 2 slides. They are just 2 slides to just tell you, in case you're in that position, or you're in that place where you're starting out, you don't have quite a lot, use what you have. Use that laptop which is a 4GB RAM to start upskilling. Eventually, that commitment will pay off. So that is what I wanted to share about my journey. That is how I got to Microsoft. Then they opened an opportunity recently about a software engineering internship. I applied for the opportunity. Eventually, I went through the interviews. That is, I would say, the first role that I went from the application level to the interviews, all the way to getting an offer. So I applied. I had done DSA. In case you have questions about data structures and algorithms, I think this was sharing more about my journey, but feel free to ask questions in between that, or something that you want to know about, even getting to Microsoft. So they asked for a role. I applied, went through the interviews, they went through the technical test, and then eventually got the offer. So I'll be joining again Microsoft in July as a software engineering intern. So our role from August will be ending this month, that is in May, but I'll now be coming back in July now as a software engineering intern. And I'm quite excited about now the opportunity that I'll also be having now for software engineering. Yeah, so I think that is my journey in a kind of nutshell. I don't know whether it's a nutshell or I've shared quite a lot. In case you have more, you want to explore more, I've shared about my journey, kind of also a sneak peek on X. You can go and see my journey, or in case you have questions, feel free to ask. Lillian, I guess I've shared quite a lot. and I'm open to questions, and I can share in case I remember anything in the course. I'm open to sharing. Yeah. Lilian?
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your journey, especially in talking about your challenges and like inspiring us. Yeah, there were a lot of questions asking about how to navigate on challenges and everything. I think you've tackled it as you've spoken about the challenges you encountered in campus and all. So I can ask around 4 questions here. What you mentioned about choosing a partner who you were working with in a project, yeah, in maybe hackathons and everything. So, what are your top characters that you would look for in a partner if you were to co-found a startup together? So maybe you can tackle the question also, putting in mind maybe advising someone in selecting a partner in starting up a company or a startup. Yeah.
So one, I would say that when you are like starting or you're selecting, let me just go from the aspect of me selecting, because I remember there's a time even we were building our own startup and all that. Still work in progress, I would say for now, because I wouldn't say that the startup is not there or anything about it. But there's that aspect that you need to remove, which is the aspect of friendship. He might be your friend, but remove the factor or the aspect of friendship. That is the first key thing, because you find out that most of the time you might select your friends, but friends who are not bringing benefit into you building what you are building. So there's that aspect of first checking, this person is my friend, but can they bring value in it? So first remove aspect of friendship is saying that what can they bring on board. So I remember we have participated in hackathons, as I've said. We've been part of it. I've been with a number of my friends. We've been building things here and there in terms of startups and things also that we are building at the moment. There is that aspect of, are these people bringing value? The same way a company will look at you and say, are you bringing value on board? Do we like need you? Like, are you bringing something on board? I think that is the first thing that we'll check. What value are they bringing? They might not be skilled. Actually, they don't have to be skilled to see the value. That is, if you're selecting someone to like co-found with, they might not be skilled, but at least you can see they have potential. Let me give a very good example, as I've said. I've mentioned of Festus. I don't know whether he's on the call. I'm putting him on the spotlight at the wrong time. I don't know whether he's on the call. Festus had just started his web development journey. When I was selecting him as a GDSC web development lead, he was not super. Even I remember he refused. He told me that I'm not ready to become the GDSC web development lead. But I told him, I've seen potential in you. I've seen you attending our sessions. I've seen what you can do. You might not be super skilled. He even was giving me examples and telling me that I have a friend who I can recommend to you. I remember him saying that way. I have a friend who I can recommend to you, but I told him, no, I know that. I know you have a friend. I know people who are skilled out there. I know people who are skilled. But I've seen potential in you. I've seen your activeness in attending our sessions. We might at times have 2 people attending the web development session, but you are one of the 2 people who have attended. I've seen you actively, like you might not be vocal in sharing a lot, but I've seen your potential. And that is how I selected Festus as the web development lead. At this moment, as I'm saying, he's the lead backend developer in that startup, FCL. He's doing quite a lot. Even I got now to start inquiring from him, to learning from the person who I was selecting to become the GDSC lead at that time, that is web development lead. I'm now getting to learn from him. I'm inquiring first, how can I integrate this endpoint, being that we are configuring the aspect of web sockets and we are configuring this and we have the access control and all that. How can I bring them together? I'm going to inquire from him. There is that aspect of saying, is there potential in this person? What do from what we've seen his previous engagements and his previous like activeness, he might not be skilled, but have you seen, does he have potential? Is he ambitious? Is he someone who will bring something on board? So that is how I would, that is how personally I've been observing, and also in case I want to work with someone, that is how I've been observing that. Are they passionate about bringing something on board? Are they might not be skilled. Remember this fact that they might not be super skilled, but they have potential. You can see that this person can upskill, this person can lead this person can do this person can perform this. So that is how I would respond to that. And I've given a very good example of Festus. And at the moment, he's really doing quite a lot and fantastic job in building fully fledged applications, right from integrating even the IoT bit to integrating the access control and all that. And this person, a person who I've seen grow from when I was selecting as the web development lead. So that is how I would respond to that. Lillian, I don't know whether I've responded to it. I hope so.
Yeah, I think you've covered it perfectly. Also, as we progress, you can raise your hand. Don't fear or unmute for any questions. Yeah, I'm looking at the ones that were submitted during registration. Okay, so the next question asks, what are the things that you wish you knew sooner in your journey?
So things I wish I knew sooner is one, follow one path. When you start learning like web development, focus on that, have the fundamentals right. As I said, I started web development, started Rust development. When I came from Rust, when going back to web development, I had to restart again. When coming from machine learning and going to this, I have to start again. So I was kind of, quote unquote, wasting a lot of time in the course of coming from this one, hopping on this one, getting two or three things, hopping on this other thing, hopping on this. So I found myself wasting a lot of time. But that aspect of you focusing on one, as I said, have some time before you start. Focus on getting to know all the different fields, have that spark in you of this is what I want to pursue. Start pursuing that, then that will really work for you, because I found myself doing different things and kind of used a lot of time in the course. That is, as I've said, that is why I also had to extend my academic leave till I saw this thing is paying and kind of bringing some return. And that is what I would say that I felt I missed the track, but eventually I came to learn, and I wished I'd known earlier. The other thing is that something that I came to learn earlier, you can do actually. Another thing is that you can pursue any field, as I've said. You can decide to do ML, start from the basics, have the fundamentals right, start as finding different certifications that you can do, and eventually find yourself getting into the field. There is no field that is like better than the other. It's only that one field might take some extra time in terms of you learning and upskilling different things. If it's machine learning, understanding the mathematics behind or something, what runs under the hood, understanding how to optimize the models and all that. It might take some time as opposed to web development or development in general, like for front end possibly. But eventually, if you're committed, there is no field that is better than the other. Someone might ask, like, which is the best field? There's no specific best field. There's no best programming language. It's just a tool that is in line with what you want to achieve or where you want to end up into. So those are things that I felt I would have learned earlier. And yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you for answering the question. Yeah, and diving deeper into it. So I see there are some hands raised. I think we can tackle one question from the registration form, and then we give time to more people to raise hands as we answer. Okay, so Mesh asks in the Q&A section, do I grind LeetCode daily to join Microsoft, or what does it take? And also someone asked in the same line in the registration form, they asked, how long did it take you to LeetCode, and along the way, did you feel overwhelmed? And if so, how did you get over it?
Perfect. So if I'm to share my LeetCode, actually, if I'm to share my LeetCode page, you'll find out that I've answered quite a few questions. I've not even gotten to 10 questions on LeetCode. Okay, I mainly use LeetCode.io, but even on LeetCode, you'll find out that I've not responded to I've not answered a lot of questions on LeetCode if I show that graph. One thing is that you don't have to LeetCode every day to join Microsoft. Having the basics right, understanding the logic behind different data structures, understanding how a stack works, understanding that a hash map has in terms of O of one, like big O notation in general, understanding, having those fundamentals right, understanding how this data structure works, how this data structure works. LeetCode is actually more of practice. Having that understanding really comes in handy, because I remember when we were told that my interview is in 1 week, because I was told that my interview will be the following week in Tuesday and Wednesday. I had just 1 week to practice, and this time I had been doing other tasks. So I had 1 week to still go back to LeetCode and start grinding, but not LeetCode per se, but DSA in general. So you don't have to grind LeetCode daily. having a good understanding, really comes in handy, but you don't have to do all the questions. Having that understanding of how different data structures work, these data structures can be used in optimizing this. Imagine the more you do the practice, it really sticks in you that if I'm using an array, if I'm traversing an array twice, I can easily optimize that by adding a hash map, and that will increase possibly there. It will increase the space complexity part, also reduce the time complexity. That it will bring some aspects. You practicing will bring something in mind, but you don't have to do all the questions. Just I would recommend actually even instead of LeetCode, you can go and use neetcode.io. This is one of the platforms that I would suggest, and I really would suggest that because it gives you the tips of how an interviewer will give you the tips. And the other thing is just understanding the interviewer will be there to help you. The interviewers are not only there, let me just share this frankly, that interviewers are not there mostly at Microsoft. I don't know about other companies. At Microsoft, interviewers are not there to rule you out. They are not there to check for mistakes. They are there to see, can you become a workmate? Can you become a colleague? Like, in case you're stuck, you can like even ask. I remember even getting stuck and I'm telling the interviewer, can I console log here and see? Because I was using JavaScript, can I console log here and see what outputs? And they're like, yeah, you can console log. And they're even giving tips. What about you do this way? What about you try it this way? And because I have some good understanding of the fundamentals of DSA or working with different data structures and even the algorithms, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, use this approach, this might work. I remember when he gave me a suggestion of, instead of, I was giving an approach that works, but he told me, instead of doing that, what if you just access the indexes directly? And I'm like, oh yeah, because if I access the indexes directly, like the more practice you have, it's easier for it to have, like when they mention something, it's easier for you even to kind of catch up and even respond to them. So you don't have to grind the whole of LeetCode. Just do 2 questions every day, 1 question every day before your interview, in case you have an interview in the coming month. Do 1 question, 2 questions every day. In case you still don't have interviews at the moment, try and do 1 question every day. It won't hurt. But even though you're given that duration to do your interview, you can still have dedicated enough time to practice. But it also depends on the level. For interns, you not get quite advanced algorithms like these dynamic programming. You not get such questions. You'll get things like arrays, linked lists, which are things that you can just practice, and in a week you're perfect or you're good. But start as early as now. Use neetcode.io. Go and understand the underlying and how different algorithms and data structures work. And when you get to the interview, I never got a question that I had practiced. I got a different question. Actually, the interviewer asked me a question like they had prepared by themselves, because it's a question I've never seen before. But I got in, I have an understanding of traversing an array. I have an understanding of how I can optimize this. And eventually, I have an understanding of big O notation in that I can tell them that this of O of n and this O of n log n because of this, because I've used this searching algorithm or sorting algorithm. So that understanding really comes in handy, in that when you get a different questions, you can easily maneuver, tackle it. Yeah. So you don't have to do everything, but try and do 1 question every day. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for answering the question. We have a few hands raised. Peter, you can mute. Yeah, you can address the question.
Thank you, Lillian. And an awesome journey from you, Mark. And thank you for sharing that. I have 2 questions. My first question is, which system do you credit for your achievements? And in line with that, how do you deal with burnouts? Because I believe there is the aspect of, yes, I'm consistent, but we all get tired, and you really need to show up for the next day, the next hour, depending on the journey that suits you. My second question is on the factor of motivation. I know this is a question you mostly avoid, but if I'm joining for an internship role at Microsoft, which range of pay, which P am I expecting from that? Thank you.
Let me start with the first. I guess there are 2 questions. Then I can respond to that one, the last one later. Let me start by saying the first one is that you've asked about the system that works for me most. Can you kindly clarify? Do you mean like the normal formal system versus the self-taught system, or which system do you mean? But the system that works for me most.
I think the system I'm referring to is most probably like a mental model. How do you maintain consistency? How do you maintain discipline? I just want to
during my
understand
upskilling.
how you, yeah, sure.
Perfect. One thing that motivated me the most was that I'm broke. This time, as I've told you, that is something that really kind of quote unquote motivated me. I'm broke. I have no option. That is one thing that might motivate you. That is for me. That works for me, but it might not work for everyone. I'm broke and I have to find a solution to this. So that is one thing that really motivated me. I have to find a solution. I have to find a way I can earn from this. Because people are saying that they're earning. I can hear, I can join events, I can join Twitter spaces. People are talking about how they're earning from tech. I have to find a way through. That is one thing that motivated me or kept me moving. The second thing is that there was that aspect of passion. At the moment we say passion ni matunda, everyone is looking for money. Hakuna ati passion ni matunda, ati wewe ukituambia ni passion, hakuna kitu kaa hiyo. There is that aspect of having the passion for joining or getting into tech. That also kept me moving because when you don't have that passion, you'll not enjoy what you are doing. Despite you skilling so you can get a better living or you can get even you can get some pay later, you'll not find the excitement when you're doing that when you lack some passion in that. So having some passion on that, something in you that excites you about tech, even though it's something that is you've seen robots like that excites you. That will keep you moving because at times you want to build solutions later that you integrate into robots or something like that. Having that passion really motivates and moves you. But when you're upskilling, remember motivation, everyone tells you that you have to be committed, whether you're motivated or not. You will lose the motivation when you're upskilling. I always tell people that you might have the resources and you will have the resources because when you reach out to Mark Gatere, he will share with you the resources. But in the course of your upskilling, you will lose motivation. How this worked for me, what I did, and might work for you, I went on YouTube, might not work for you or might work for you. We are different. I went on YouTube and always went to search a day in the life of a software engineer at Google and a life of a software engineer at Microsoft, seeing their lifestyle, seeing someone waking up on a very cozy bed, someone going and preparing breakfast, then going and giving you an office tour, they're getting in. This time, there are these content creators who do a day in a life. They're software engineers, but they're also content creators on YouTube. Even though you search a day in a life of software engineer, you see them. So I had to find a way of getting motivation, and I think this really motivated and helped me because when I have no motivation and go and see that lifestyle, I see someone waking up, they are living their life, and then they are sharing about their compensation. That was quite exciting and motivating. So that will stay just for a while. I will get that motivation just for a while, like about a week or so. Then I will lose the motivation again while still upskilling. I'll go and then search a day in the life of a software engineer to Microsoft. I see they are quite, I would mention even as some. There is this guy known as Clement. Clement someone. He was at Google. There's another one who was worked at Meta. He was known as Tech Lead. For most of you might have met Tech Lead. He used to share a lot about his day in life. These people who are not technical, they were mainly sharing about. Actually, Clement, he's the one who leads one of the largest DSA platforms known as Algo Expert. So he's known as Clement someone. I knew his second name, but it's quite kind of hard. If you go to Team, you see someone who is known as Tech with Team. This is another guy who motivated me when I'm seeing his journey. Someone who's young, and you can see he's sharing quite a lot. He has subscribers. At times, he's doing even how he started his journey in tech. So this aspect of me seeing a journey in a life, or not a day in a life of software engineers at these big tech companies, really motivated me. And I was like, I want to one day get into that point where I'm not possibly sharing on social media about my journey, but about my life, but at least I'm getting to a place where I'm quote unquote self-sufficient. I can wake up, I can on weekends I can go and have some fun. So that was quite exciting. Yeah, Clement Mihailescu. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, his second name is quite hard, but I'm going to share Kram because I used to watch a lot of his journeys and his YouTube channel. So Clement Mihailescu really came in handy in terms of me getting motivation. Tech Lead also team with Tech with Team. Those are people that I used to watch a lot of the YouTube channels. That is their YouTube videos of a day in a life. And yeah, that is how Peter, I don't know whether I've responded to your question on how I got motivation, and that is how it worked for me. So everyone trying to find how you can get motivation and commitment in the course, but I had to find a way of, yeah. So I guess I've responded to Peter. Amos,
I
I don't know
think,
whether you got. Yes. Yes, Peter.
Mark, I think there are two more questions and not two questions, but one question
Okay.
on the factor of the wage or
I will
what
respond to
benefits
that.
do I get?
I will
Okay,
respond to
okay,
that. I will respond to
sure.
that. Allow me to take it as the around the final question. I will respond to that because when I start talking about things with compensation, pengine kuna wenye wanatoka tu watoke tu hivyo wakiwa wamekuwa motivated,
Eh,
watoke call. I don't want people to
Awesome,
leave the
awesome,
call. So I want
awesome.
still be there so that they can also be there to listen. But I will just share the range. I cannot share about the compensation. I cannot share about my compensation or about engineers. I can share about the range. This is out there on Glassdoor. It's out there on a different platform, but I will just share. So let me go to the next question. Peter, I will still be here to respond to that. But I think Lydian can be sharing those links to Glassdoor or different platforms that normally share the range. It's nothing different from what I've been mentioning. So the range is still out there online, Glassdoor and all that. So Amos, I guess I can get to Amos.
Hello, Gatere.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, so my question is, you said you got back to school, and you're still interning at Microsoft. So how do you plan to balance the two?
My plan on balancing the two, interning at Microsoft will go for 3 months. So planning after, okay, personally, I visited the COD and told them about the opportunity that I've gotten. And because I've resumed school, the COD knew me. Remember, I was assistant class rep, so they had known me and all that. They had come to Microsoft for the faculty program. Here, they found me, they saw what I'm doing. So I went and approached them and told them about I got this offer and they said that we'll plan on how I can, because it will just be for 3 months, then I'll resume officially in school. Then as I wait possibly for another opportunity to come up at Microsoft, or in case hopefully an opportunity of a return offer or a full-time role comes, hopefully I will be grateful. But it's just 3 months. That is this whole June, as I've said, these are final months for the role that we've been serving. The whole of June I'll be in school. So I'll be in DeKUT in Nyeri. So then from July all the way to October, I had talked to the COD and we said we can discuss on that. So I will try my best. I don't have a kind of concrete response to that by now in regards to how I'll balance both, but I believe it will work. That is what I believe, yeah. Because I cannot leave school, I still have to remember I had said that I will go back to school. Now that I can kind of pay my school fees, I now go back to school. I already promised myself I'll be going back to school when I can pay my fee. So yeah, that is my response to that, Amos. So I'll go back and see how I can manage in terms of having both, and then later I can resume full time in school.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I can see more hands raised. I think
Yes.
you can address those and see if time will be
Amos?
okay to address more two questions.
Yes,
Most of
Gatere.
them responded. I think we have questions on the Q&A. Lillian, as we go back to them that have raised their hands, I guess you can give me, I don't know which question has been responded to, and I guess you can just ask me the ones that have been responded to. Or the ones
Okay,
that have
so
not been
there's
responded
one.
to, sorry.
Okay, Clement asks, between certifications and hands-on experience, which one is better?
Hands-on experience. When you go to an interview, we never discuss anything about my certifications, but the interviewer, who is will be one of the interviewers, okay, one at times you'll be interviewed even by the one who will be your manager. They really were into what have I done previously? How did I handle this? Why did I do this instead of this? How did I find, which challenge did I face while building this? And how did I tackle it? So that hands-on experience is kind of 90%. 10% you might say certifications really come in handy, because when you have some kind of this, and not only these Udemy certifications, that might never work because these are just certifications to show that you've completed a course. But if you have like an Azure AI 900 certification, that is a certification that you get through being monitored, how you are responding to questions, you're not cheating or something like that. These certifications which are recognized, If it's cybersecurity, we have these applications which are recognized. Those are applications that might give you an edge in case at the moment, for instance, at big tech, even at Microsoft, you see they are really pushing the aspect of AI. So if you have AI 900 certification, you have AZ, it's known as AZ 900 or AZ something certification for Azure. If you have AI, this other for AI engineer, as an AI engineer, it's known as AI something as well. If you have those certifications, they can give you an edge because these are kind of certifications which you don't only get by completing something. It's certification that you get by that show that you are skilled in that specific thing. Because if you go and put a Coursera or a Udemy course, they are not interested in that because they want to see what did you use that knowledge that you learned in that course, where did you apply it? So hands-on really comes in handy. We never discussed anything actually about certifications. They were really into what the projects are built before. And remember, I had worked on a number of client projects. So most of them that I was explaining was the project that I've worked on. This is how we handled this. We faced this challenge while working with Azure PostgreSQL because there is no integration of Azure AI search in that. Then we shifted to Azure Cosmos DB because they support for this. So we were explaining this, the challenge I faced, and everything that we are covering is on regards to hands-on. So that is why, yeah, thank you so much, Lina, for sharing that. Azure AI 900 certification vouchers are always be given away. If you go to social media, if you follow Microsoft, there is a way with celebration for Microsoft at 50, they were giving away vouchers. Vouchers will always be there. They are paid for certifications, but vouchers are always available. So those certifications which can give you an edge, but hands-on 90%.
Okay. Yeah, I hope that has answered Clement's question. I hope, Clement, you're okay. We can proceed. Okay. We can proceed with, I'm not sure if Amos had already spoken.
Yeah, Amos, I don't know whether you are responding to Amos. Do you have a follow-up?
Oh, yes, you responded.
Oh, perfect. I think we can go to Paulo.
Hello, Mark. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, so my question is small. Firstly, thank you for the informative session. You've spoken about the guys that used to go to YouTube there and a day in the life of a software developer, and now you are that person, a day in the life of Gatere. But my question is, you've mentioned that there is this alternative to LeetCode that gives you, inakudescribea kitu unafanya, if I might put it there, an alternative to LeetCode. I didn't get the name that you mentioned.
I've shared on the chat. It's neetcode.io. If you go to neetcode.io, it's from a guy. He has a YouTube channel. He's known as Neetcode. If you go to YouTube, he's known as Neetcode, but he has neetcode.io. The good thing about neetcode.io, it gives you tips. Even Neetcode gives you, but he's also attached a solution to that specific question. So if you go to neetcode.io, that you can go and sort with by blind 75. You can sort with blind 150 questions and have those questions for practice. So yeah, that is a site. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Peter. I see Peter's hands in. Okay. I don't know. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question, and it's actually because you have mentioned about AI, and with the recent layoffs from big tech companies, we have IBM, the likes of Microsoft. From your perspective, now that you've interacted with engineers from the likes of the big tech companies, what's your take on the future of software development? Or what can you tell someone who is just started in software development? What should they really focus on in the sense of AI? I know there's the sense of vibe coding, etc. But what's your perspective on AI and the future of software development?
So it's quite unfortunate, and we've had the layoffs, and it's quite sad because at times if you see your friends leaving, it's quite sad. Let me say that way. One thing I would say is that I wouldn't directly say that it's AI that has replaced them because I don't have even concrete information about that. and I don't know what was considered for the layoffs to happen. But one thing I know is that at the moment there is quite a shift in terms of the development. I was reached out. We might be hosting a session next week known as software engineering in the age of AI. So it's a topic that we're working on with someone as Elvis. A number of you might know him. So he reached out so we can have that session with us to software engineering at the moment in the age of AI. One thing is that there's a shift in that there is development, and development, the future of development is still there. Developers will still be there. I'm not in that position of saying the AI will replace software engineers, or nor am I in the position of saying that AI will not replace software engineers, because I'm also not sure, or I've not been into the industry enough to give a concrete conclusion or a concrete answer to that. But one thing I know is that development at the moment, and I also in the next coming few months or years, there's quite a lot of potential in the field. The only thing is that there's a shift in that as much as you're doing development, there is that aspect of integrating AI in it. At the moment, when you go to almost all softwares, almost all products, you find out that there's an integration of AI. If you go to Windows, you'll find out that there's a Windows Copilot. If you go to Azure, there's an Azure Copilot. If you go to different products, you find that there's an aspect of AI integration. Even when you go to different products, if you open DataCamp at the moment, you'll see there's a chatbot there at the bottom that you can interact with, that you can ask questions. If you go to most of the applications, they have integrated the aspect of AI in one way or the other, either by a chatbot or by integrating something that is kind of AI centric or AI related. One thing I would say is that as you are doing development, it's quite important at the moment. That is also mentioned about Microsoft AI 900. It's quite important at the moment to focus on how you can integrate AI in your specific field. If you're doing cybersecurity, try to see, just do research, even go to ChatGPT or Copilot, ask it, how can I use AI in cybersecurity? If you're doing data science, that is actually still in AI. When you're working with data and all that, is still kind of aspect of AI. But if you're doing development, software engineering, see how you can integrate AI in that. In case you don't have much information, get to see how you can build. Actually, you don't have to learn the internals of building an LLM. You don't have to understand how to build your own ChatGPT. If you know, the better, but you don't have to understand that. Just see how can I integrate this API, how can I get an API endpoint, integrate it in my software, have it working. As you can see, I did a revamp of my portfolio. I think I've seen Lilian had shared it somewhere here. That is not my blog, actually, it's just my normal portfolio. I did a revamp and also added an aspect of AI into it, because at the moment, everyone is adding AI in everything. Try and see how can I integrate AI in this? How can I build with AI in this? Because when you have both concepts, because even the team that I'll be joining, I was told that I will also be interacting with things with AI, that is after I interacted with the manager and all that. So you'll find out that even though you're doing development, you'll find there's an aspect of integrating AI. People who are working on the Windows platform, because there is a Copilot, they have to understand how can they integrate Copilot on Windows and it works. So you see, there's that aspect of integrating AI into development. So as you're still proceeding with your career advancement, if you're doing building of softwares, try research, try to get resources. How can I do just imagine it can take you just a week to understand how can I do API calls in my web application. How can I do this specific integration in this AI integration in my specific application or specific product. So that aspect of understanding how you can integrate AI into your specific workflow, or how you can infuse AI into your specific workflow, will really come in handy. So do not all shift and say that I will shift and start upskilling on AI. You can still try and see how can I use AI in this specific field. Yeah. I don't know if I've responded to that, Peter.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So in case, feel free also to add more information. Actually, there's a comment there from one of the software engineers here. I know him. He's Kavisi Moses. It's also very important to follow on the tech seminars done by big tech companies. That is very good. Actually, thank you so much for pointing that. Oh, Kavisi Moses is a software engineer here at Microsoft. He's really stated a very important thing. Here at Microsoft, even here at DDC, I've said we normally do hosting of sessions or hosting of events. We normally do hosting of events or hosting of sessions. And those events are for free. Feel free to attend. There is that event even by big tech companies like Microsoft Build. We've had Microsoft Build last week. They were showcasing different ways of how you can integrate or how they have built different AI platforms, different AI things that they have launched. That really comes in handy. And thank you so much for highlighting that, Moses. They release what the trends in tech is and the future of tech in general. So as you can see, this really comes in handy. You understanding what Microsoft is building, you understanding what other companies are building, what they are releasing. They normally have these events. They have shared them on their different platforms. They have posted them. It's for free to attend. Go and see what is being built. Go and see what they have open sourced. Go and see what they have built for this past 1 year. That really comes in handy. Yeah. So thank you so much, Moses, for that. Yeah, I see we have other hands, so I can respond to them quickly, to the questions quickly. And Lina can also direct me whether we go to the hands that are raised or we go to the Q&A section. I don't know whether we have a lot of questions.
Yeah, okay. So I think maybe we can Stacy, Jeff Star. I'm not sure if Amos is asking a follow-up question, but we can take Stacy and Jeff Star first.
Yeah, we can give chances to them that have not asked kindly, so that we can also get everyone ask their question and possibly I can respond to someone else while still answering one. Yeah.
Hey, Lilian.
Stacy.
Hey, Lilian. Hey, Mark.
I don't know whether you're audible.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, from far.
How about now?
Yeah, clear.
So, my question was on. I understand we've tackled much more on hard skills. So my question comes in on soft skills. So say you are in a junior role and you're given role on leadership, say leading a group of maybe interns that have joined the company, or like how would you move around that? Because you're also on a growth phase. Despite working on like hard skills, you also need to do on soft skills. How would you move around your leadership in such kind of space? Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you so much for that question, Stacy. I don't know how I will respond directly to it because personally, my leadership and those specific skills, I learned them while still doing community development. When I was now selected the community lead and I have to select a team, I have to manage a team, I have to make sure everything is running smoothly. I have to host events and account for the budget because even we are hosting events, like I became also an organizer for the GDG community in the Nyeri region. We have to account for the budget, we have those meetings. So that is where I got to learn a lot about leadership, about communication, about how to manage a team. So what I would say at the moment, I don't know how I would respond to that directly because mine came through experience, like being there, being part of this community, leading the community. So how I advise you is that if you've been tasked with like leading a team, I'm not in a better position because I'm not mainly into leadership. Like I'm not a manager. I think in case we had an engineering manager, he would have responded with the best response to that at the moment. But I think just believe in yourself that you can do it. Just like have that feeling of like I can do it, and because I don't know whether the task you have accepted to do the task through being assigned or you are the one who was suggested. Because most of the time, when you are the one who was suggested to lead the team, you are kind of confident in what you can do. So, do you have something to add on that? Because I think I don't have a direct answer to that. I'm not more into leadership as I'm into leadership from community work, and that is where my leadership and soft skills came in. As I said, even communication, managing teams, organization, and all that. But at the moment, I wouldn't have a direct answer because like kukudanganya, I don't lie. I'll give you an answer or a response that is not real. So Stacy, tunaweza onana kando, we further the conversation, but or someone else in the chat can respond to that, or someone who has been in the field, because I've seen us actually some might have joined who are leaders. Yeah, they can be respond to the chat. So Stacy, I don't know how I responded to that, but
I think it's well answered because as for me, it's like a different kind of space now doing development because I'm working on like a developer. But now I've been tasked that and I work like as a leadership role and like it's something new, so you have to figure out how you move around it. Yeah, but I'm well answered.
I wish you all the best, and I believe in you. I know you can do it here.
Thank you.
We can have Jeff. Jeff Star. Yes, that's right. We can have Jeff, then we go to the Q&A section, because I believe there are some people who are. Yeah, so lead and find for me questions on the Q&A section, kindly the one that we've not responded to, or a question that looks something we've not tackled, so that I can respond to it after Jeff Star. So yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
So I have a question. What made you not to dig deeper into data science? And what also motivated you to actually dig deep into the software engineering?
Perfect. So as I've shared, let me actually stop. So what made me not further into data science and AI? As I've mentioned, initially, I mentioned that my goal was to get into the industry. That was the first thing. And when I mentioned that to my mentor, they gave me the approach of going the development way. They gave me good examples and told me that in case you want to get into the field of AI research and all that, mainly the field of AI, you see most of them are doctors. They're people with masters, they're people who are doing research papers and all that. So because my initial goal was to get my first industry job, I had to pivot and get into development personally. So it's not a thing that I'm saying people should change and get into development, but they told me that development you can easily get into the industry, or not into the industry per se, but you can easily get your first pay. Like as I've said, he gave me a good examples of you can get clients, which I came to witness. Client who does not do anything to do with data science or AI, but they want a working website. They want a working web application that can handle data, that people can come and book tickets. So being that is what I wanted to first get, the aspect of getting paid, quote unquote. That is why I didn't continue pursuing AI, but later I came to find myself getting into AI, but now with the aspect of LLMs, not building my own models, but integrating AI, which I've just mentioned, integrating the aspect of AI into applications. Even the project that we're building at the moment, you'll find out that most of them it's a running software, but there's an API call to Azure AI Foundry, there's an API call to Azure OpenAI. So that is what made me not to continue pursuing data science, which is more into the field of building your own custom models. The aspect of also, I didn't have a powerful laptop to build my own custom models. So I decided to go the kind of quote unquote the shorter route, and the route that I was kind of quote unquote assured because it's my mentor was told me. So yeah, that is why I did. I hope I've responded to that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, sure. Lillian, can you kindly
Yes. Okay. So
the question that
okay, someone had asked, does Microsoft consider you completing your degree or your completion in undergraduate? And also, I'll combine that with a question that had asked that was there any topics that you had overlooked but turned out to be really important in your job?
Okay, let me start with the first question, whether Microsoft looks at the degree. Wow. So let me start by saying so. So when you want to get into the industry, let me not start with Microsoft. When you want to mainly get into the industry, I mentioned something to do with what are you bringing on board? Did they ask whether they look at the degree or did they ask whether they look at the education? Can you clarify, Lydia? Don't know whether I have access to the MD. Does Microsoft have? Is it this question by do big tech companies like Microsoft pay into detail whether you complete your undergraduate studies before they offer you a full-time role? Is that question?
Yes.
Good. So let me respond to that question in two ways. One, for you to be a Microsoft intern, you have to be a student, which I am. You have to be a student at a campus pursuing your undergraduate or pursuing your postgraduate or master's or something. You have to be a student. That is to get an internship offer. For you to come back as a full-time employee from that internship, like getting a full-time opportunity as a return offer, in that this time they have seen you've done a very good job. For you to come back as a full-time employee, you have to complete your studies. That is, I have to go to school and complete my degree for me to come back as a full-time for a full-time opportunity through the return offer. In case I get a return offer, I've not gotten into my team, so I wouldn't say that my manager said I'm good or I'm not. But when your manager sees that you've done a very good job, interns most of the time are retained by the company. Not only at Microsoft, even at other companies, you find that they retain interns when they have done a very good job. They come back. But now at Microsoft, I would say the position of Microsoft, you have to come back while you have completed your studies. That is one thing. But now, in case you are not a student, and even though possibly you did pursue a technical course, and you are out there, you are not a student, you don't have, you didn't pursue computer science, you can still apply for a role at Microsoft or any other company if you have the skills, you have something to quantify that, you have something to bring on board. Okay, so I've responded it in two parts. In case you're not a student, or even you are not in your campus, you're not pursuing even or you're in campus, not pursuing a technical course. For you to get an internship, you don't have to be pursuing computer science or IT or anything. You can apply, but at least you have to have some technical skills, because when you're joining, you'll be joining possibly for software engineering role as an intern. We have a lot of internship roles, as I've mentioned them. We were previously in an ecosystem and Microsoft Garage intern. I'm joining as a software engineering intern. There are other like legal interns. We have a legal intern here. We have research interns who are part of the research team who are pursuing their masters and PhDs. We have interns in different categories. But in case you're joining as a software engineering intern, you have to have some technical skills, because this is software engineering. So it doesn't matter whether you're pursuing. We have engineers who have joined here through return offers, and they were pursuing engineering courses. You might say it's a bit technical, but you see that it's an engineering course, but they are joining as a software engineer, or they got in as a software engineering intern. So you don't have to be pursuing Bachelor of Science in Computer Science or IT or software engineering. You can still apply for a software engineering internship role, but that time you have to have some technical skills, because you'll still go through DSA. They'll still get to see what do you have? Have you worked on some projects? Have you had some experience before? So that is with regards to internship. For you to get a return offer as an intern, you have to complete your school. For you to get into Microsoft, either you have pursued your computer science or not, if you have the skills, you have the experience, apply for a job. You can get into the job. Go and search online. There's a person who got into Microsoft. There's a post I read even before I joined Microsoft. The person was a fisherman. They joined into Microsoft. It's online. I think I can share the link to that. You're going to search possibly fisherman to Microsoft. They were fishermen, but they got an access, I think, to a boot camp or something like that. They got to upskill, and now they're working at Microsoft. Like, you can get, as long as you have the skills, you have something to bring on board, you can apply for a role at Microsoft. You don't have to have even the degree. The degree is important, but in case you didn't get an opportunity to pursue the degree, you can still apply if you have the skills and you have some experience. You can still apply for a role at Microsoft. Yeah, I guess I've responded them to the best of my ability. I can go to another question on the chat section, because I've seen we've responded to a number of questions. Which other question, Lilian? I think you should kindly give me the questions, because I see there's quite a lot of questions, but I don't know which ones we have responded to. So possibly you can help me get the questions that I can respond to.
Okay, I'll take the last two, final two. And also a slight, like you can answer it briefly, if they consider, there was Jeff Star was asking about diploma in the lines of degrees and all that being considered in Microsoft.
To get into Microsoft through like an internship or a full-time role?
They asked generally.
Like, I don't get it on that, on regards to diploma, kindly, if they can clarify. I didn't get that. Like, were they asking on regards to the one who was asked, can kindly clarify? Either are they asking about, as I said, getting into Microsoft as a full-time employee, you don't have to consider either, as long as you have the skills, you have the experience, you have the projects, you have something to showcase. You don't have, even though you don't. That I think I don't know that I've responded to it in line with the, yeah, this is a blog that Lina has shared.
Okay. Yes, they have specified its internship.
So for internship, I have to kind of confirm. I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that. I'll have to confirm. But I think you're still a student. You're still eligible. So I guess that is my guess. I guess you can apply because I'll have to confirm for that, but you can still apply. What is the worst that can happen? The worst is a no, and nobody will beat you or chase you out. They'll just tell you that we are considering this or all that. But I'll have to clarify. I've shared my email address. Someone can reach out to me in case they have additional question. Because of time, I will respond to them. When you reach out to me, I will respond to your question. That is my email address. As you can see, Lilian has shared a blog post, and I will have to confirm there on regards to diploma kindly.
Okay. Yes, so okay, there was, can we address the other questions or the last two? Or
Okay, we can address them, yeah.
Okay, so there was one who was asking about resources. I'm not sure if you can just send them the web development and mobile application resources. Yeah,
Kindly
where they
reach out
can
to
be
me.
able to, yeah.
Via my email,
Okay.
kindly reach out to me with the resources. I will get back to you with the resources, yeah.
Okay, Mary had asked an interesting question about being in a group project, and they keep on finding updates to a project and they don't even know what's going on. Like there's progress in the project, but they are not involved. So they are asking for some advice. Yeah, that was just a general question.
Sorry, I didn't get that, Taki. You are in a project, but I think I should need to open it.
Yes. How should we deal with teamwork project, especially for those in attachment? In my case, I'm in my attachment and I find it hard at times because when given a project to work on, there's this one person who does everything and I'm left nikishtuka ilifanywa aje.
Wow. So that is different depending on the environment that you are in. Because at Microsoft, that is different. You'll not find that everyone has done everything. So I think depending on the environment that you are in, I've not been in that position, but how I will respond to that is that speak out. Like you can, okay, in my case, I'm in an attachment and I find it hard to this course. When you're given a project work, there's this one person who does everything. Speak out and tell them that, can I work on this? Like you can speak out and tell them that, what about if we divide this project into specific tasks or different components and I work on this specific component? I think when you speak up, possibly they are excited in that aspect of showing the manager or showing the person who is in charge that they can do this or they can do everything. But if you speak up and tell them possibly that, because I know it's part of he's your colleague, possibly the one who was worked on that, you can speak up and tell them, what about if we divide this project into components? Because I'm good in this, I can work on this. I'm quite sure with their right sense or their right mind, they will not go ahead and work on that yet. You've told them that you work on this. But if you come to an environment like Microsoft in a team, you'll find that everyone has been tasked with things to work on, and they can reach out to their team member when they have a blocker or if they have this and that. So you'll not find that. I think the environment also matters, but because at times you never have a choice, you can just pick up and tell them. So I think when assigned this project, what about, because these are the things that you talk in the interview, like you'll be just, have you ever had a conflict with your colleague and what was the conflict about? Most of the time, they don't want you to lie. They want you to showcase something that is you've experienced. That is at times you can come up with a conflict because in that case you can tell them that they are like, no, but I can do this. You see, the way you solve that is something that you can talk in your interview and say, this is how I handled this. So you can just pick up and tell them, from this project, let's divide it into components and I can work on this because I'm good in this. Yeah, that is how I'll advise that. I've not been in that case, but yeah.
Yes, thank you for answering the question. I think that's it for now for the question segment. If you have any questions, Gatere has sent his email there, and also there's the link to his portfolio. You can reach out. I think the social media links are there. And yeah, so the final thing you were to address was maybe the range, the salary
Oh.
range. Yeah.
I don't think people forgot. Let me just share first my social media account while still thinking about whether I should share or not. This is a question I've always liked asking people who I host. I didn't think I'll one day be asked similar questions. So let me first open the link that you shared from Glassdoor, so that I can just read what Glassdoor says. So if you go to Glassdoor and I search jobs and companies, I will just search for jobs and say companies at Microsoft. To cut the long story short, when you're joining, it depends on your experience. That is one. It depends on which level you're joining, because the experience and the levels go kind of in a way they go hand in hand. When you're joining level 59, you're joining as an intern, the compensation varies. So the more senior you are, the more competition, the more you receive in terms of compensation. I don't know how I respond in terms of compensation because, but it's something that is quite iko sawa kabisa for I would say comrade, because I'm still a student. It's something that is enough. I don't know whether I've responded to that, Peter, but I think it's something that is iko sawa for someone. Like siski kutaja the figures, so, but it's something that is enough for comrade. And there was silence.
Yes. Yes, I think you can explore in the link for Glassdoor. You check out online. You can search the role that you are interested in. Then you search the company name, and you can research on the amount. Yeah, you can find a guess or an estimate of what Gatere gets. Okay, so that's the end of my session.
There's also another site. I don't know whether it's called Blind. I don't know whether it's called Blind or something. There's another site that that normally people, yeah, it's called Blind. I think it's Blind. People share about their salaries and compensation. If you go here and search for companies, you can. I don't know what I will say about my compensation here. That is in the section, that is in the these public session on the compensation for people at but you can come and search on Blind. Let me just share it. Let me just share Blind. These are Blind. You can easily get that to see the compensation of yeah, and the sites are not lying. So the sites are not lying. So that is for US, but you can easily. Microsoft is multinational, so whether it's multinational or whatever, but if you can see there, you can see the compensation of engineers at different companies or different organizations or even at Microsoft.
Okay, thank you.
I think I'm done, Lilian.
Yes, yes.
So Peter, you
we've
can
come
find
to
your
the end.
motivation there. So Peter, in case you're still on the call, you can find your motivation on Blind. Yeah.
Yes, thanks for sharing. You can explore the salaries there. Yeah, so I've sent a link to sharing your feedback on today's session. You can feel free to do so. Your details are not captured, like your email and your name, so it is anonymous. And CSOK platform links are also in the chat. Thank you so much for joining the session. And I think Collins is around. Collins is the lead of MLSA in Dedan Kimathi. If you want to become a Microsoft student ambassador, you can reach out. I'm not sure if Collins has anything to say. Let me share his LinkedIn profile here. Yeah, you can reach out to Collins if you have any inquiries about the MLSA program. You can also reach out to me, in case you have any questions, but he's the lead of MLSA. So thank you for joining the session. The recording will be posted. I'll keep you posted on the WhatsApp groups when it is uploaded. Yes, that's the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining, guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much as well for Lilian for inviting me and for the team for organizing this. In case of any other questions, you can reach out to me via my email address. You can reach out to me even through social media, X or LinkedIn. I'll be happy to respond to your question.